Hey everybody, it's Chad Warren from the adventurerchannel.com/blog. You can find me on Twitter at ChadWarren76. Interested in learning how to market alternative media, you can find me at how_alternative. So I am focusing on the video you see behind you, The Reason Why He Did It by Merciful Servant. And this video is a Muslim leader, imam, whatever you call their priest class, and he is speaking to Muslims with how they should react to this terror attack in New Zealand. So I feel the need to make this video because I think there's some problems that need to be addressed in what he says. His solution, beyond the kind of typical things we would hear of, like, don't overreact. That's a good advice, right? Don't try to attack these people that you feel attacked you, or we'll all be doing the same evil of blaming people by these labels of Muslim and Jewish and Christian and etc. But then he proposes that there be legislation to prevent Islamophobia, right? Okay, so yes, Islamophobia exists, but the basic point of my message is that anyone who is speaking just from one point of view is part of the problem, because these points of view, whether they be like you could label me a conspiracy theorist. I would rather choose the phrase independent researcher, right? I'm part of this new class of people worldwide that is actually using the internet to look into things for myself and not just taking the word of mainstream media. Okay, so there's all kinds of problems with that group label as well, right? And I can get into that later, but so Islamophobia, on the one hand, yes, that is a problem. It's what supports Donald Trump and the Republicans, because they're not conservative. Nothing that President Trump has done, even if it does not depend on conservative government, less government. It depends on more government. He does everything with executive action, just like Obama did, right? And then, he wants to reduce the cost of prescription drugs. Well, how did he do that? He issued a federal mandate. How's he getting his wall? With an executive order. He's shutting down the government. So, in regards to Islamophobia, yeah, the evangelical Christians who are Zionists, there's the Baptist church up the street, and it's got the Israel flag, right? So it's not, Christianity itself doesn't have anything to do with Jesus Christ other than to pervert that idea, right? It may be at some point in time there was some individual that was trying to defeat the problems of organized religion, right? And it's irrelevant whether there was a Jesus or not. There are people today, myself, right, that are saying the people that follow the teachings of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, or whatever, that is what happened when the Jewish people, their temple was destroyed by Rome, and then they found this priest class to started leading the Sanhedrin and saying, we're going to tell you what you should do. And all of the Old Testament God is evil. The Jewish God is evil. It's the cause of war. That was the problem that Rome had with them, is that they were setting themselves apart in this empire of Rome that's trying to assimilate everything, and it's still doing that. It's called communitarianism. So it plays every position. Alex Jones is fake. It's trying to control the conspiracy. This guy is probably fake, trying to control Islam, because those people are meeting with the Pope in this, like, let's all have this new world order, one religion. And what's confusing about that is I do think that we should all be one people worldwide. We should ditch these uniforms of police, ditch these uniforms of these hijabs, and this any of this stuff is bogus. It's the cause of war. So that if I'm taking this Gnostic point of view to separate myself and say, hey, I want to be an individual. I don't want to be controlled by mind control. But at the same time, I understand that the only real value of an individual is that you're improving your contribution to the true community of life. I mean, that's even beyond humanity. That's with nature, spirit, whatever. So, robots, whatever. So that's what I'm advocating, is that we, the folk of the world, have a genuine interfaith, have a relationship, a cooperation beyond our specific points of view. So I'm criticizing this proposition of legislation to, it's basically the same as the Antisemitic legislation proposed by Trump. So that's all Zionism. That's all this rich people that have ruled the world forever, and the bankers, and all the United Nations that the Rothschilds own, and Israel's totally a product of the Rothschilds. It's their personal army. They don't represent all Jewish people. Stop letting these people speak for you. Stop representation. Just present. I'm presenting. Nobody's representing me. Nobody's able to represent me. The whole concept is bogus. The Senate in the United States is modeled after the offices. You know what I mean? You're all reporting to the Pope. Modern science, with its heliocentric view, as approved by the Pope with their Lucifer telescope. Science is all derivative of the church. The legal system is derivative of Judeo-Christianity. And then, okay, so I'm accusing all these neoconservatives, these Trump people, they're using war, they're blaming everything on the Muslims. But you got to see both sides, right? Because aren't these videos also true? Aren't there, just these rich people that used to ship slaves around the world are still doing that? They're causing war, and then they're sending these migrants into these nations to disrupt any separation or sovereignty that any people as individuals or people as nations would have. So then that's complicated, because nations are also bogus. They depend on socialism. They depend on, like the way the EU is that the member states have to open themselves up to being told what to do from the top down. They don't have any power. That's why you have these bogus movements of Brexit. And then France has got this Macron guy, that's like their Obama, right? That are just people that are talking, saying what people want to hear, We're going to make America great again. We're going to make France great again. We're going to make Great Britain great again. No, you're not. It's National Socialism. That's what Hitler had. He was going to make Germany great again. How did that turn out? Not very well for Germany. Very well for the Nazis. Who is Hitler signing an agreement with a Zionist rabbi to found Israel? Look it up. Who told me about that? Oh, I don't know. A Jewish guy that wrote the book about it, that heard about it through his family. So we got to break ranks with these Orthodox religions. They're not right thinking. That's what Orthodox means. I was learning that from Miguel Connor's Gnostic Bite. Aeon Bite Gnostic Radio or whatever. Great show, by the way, in terms of studying, like, how did all this organized religion get put together and why? Obviously, to destroy what we're trying to do is actually tell the truth and make sense and not be co-opted. So yeah, over in Europe, there are women being raped by these radical Muslim invaders that probably don't at all represent Islam. I don't. That's, you see what I'm saying? You got to see both sides of it to be talking about the truth. But Angela Merkel, she stops any discussion of any of this in the press. So that if you go along with this, we're gonna, fight for legal, make it illegal to say anything bad about Islam. You're supporting Luciferianism. You're supporting this one world government of these bankers. You're increasing the likelihood of violence. That's my big message. Yes, we all want to reduce violence. Going along with any of these narratives that are promoted in the mainstream media, as well as look at, okay, now let's focus on the problem with the internet people. Because this accused murderer, he is said to be a white supremacist. Okay? So they're using Trump to speak, they're going to say, oh, if you're for Trump, you're a white supremacist. That's how they're going to get your group, right? And then I'm more critical of Freemasonry. Are they making good men better? What good are they doing about any of this stuff? Wearing a bunch of top hats and doing rituals and in a pyramid scheme, spending all this money. I mean, come on, man. Like, so this guy thinks he's a Knights Templar. Well, then, see, that casts aspersion on the secret societies like the Freemasons, who may have been good at one point in time, but they're certainly corrupted now. They are the source of where people go when they want to learn the truth, right? And they learn about the Knights Templar and the Kabbalism. Freemasonry is basically Jewish mysticism for anybody. So, that group is being threatened as much as I'm critical of that group. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to learn this problem, reaction, solution, Hegelian dialectic. They've got the chessboard, right? The Muslims brought us the chessboard. They educated Europe. They took it over for 700 years, not so much by warfare, although they did have African newly converted Muslims that were soldiers, but they did it by sharing information and by building beautiful temples based on the golden ratio, and they shared information freely with the people, whereas in Europe they kept all the information up with the king and queen and the court, right? So, but you got these secret societies like the Shriners. Well, they're wearing a fez, right? So the fez is representing the blood of Christians. awash in the murder of Christians. Where did I hear that? From this scariest movie ever. I was listening to that on the Higher Side Chats last night. He was a guest. Zach something, I think is his name. And he was making reference to, 10 years ago is when his channel got started. And he was watching a lot of Muslim-based discussion of secret societies, like The Arrivals. And I think I'll check those out. But those are really good documentaries, like as far as spooky, fun to watch, but good information. But all of us have got to take off this pirate eye patch of only seeing one side of things, or we're just pawns in their game. So where are the people that break ranks with orthodoxy that are Muslim? Am I making sense? I mean, like, I'm into this Gnosticism, which is like thinking it's the original, what Christianity was based around, something that was beyond books. If you the problem are these books, which is paradoxical because most of Gnosticism is like on Miguel Conner. They're discussing these books. But I mean, how is discussing books actually helping yourself or other people? I mean, what kind of that's not an action in itself to just be critical and to think critically. Are you helping the poor, or are you meditating? What are you doing? So that's my criticism of that. But aren't there like the Sufi Muslims? Aren't they the ones that are not orthodox? Like, educate me. Where's the information about Islam that I can look at and share that has been condensed? I don't want to hear a bunch of, I can't stand it. I'm into the internet marketing and they go on forever. I'm probably going on forever right now. How do we get information that clearly can explain what is in Islam that's not in the other faith? That's all I care about, first of all. I don't want to hear all the same stuff. You know what I mean? Because in all of these points of view, including atheists, right? If you're atheist, then you're all about, science is going to save the world. No, not this science that's run by these bankers. It's just anti-human. There is this Old Testament God, and I know Islam has this war and peace side too. Everything has this war and peace side of it, and maybe the two are obviously related. You have to learn to be good. You have to learn how to defeat these ploys by predators, right? You can't, if you're just a little bunny rabbit and you're taken by some hawk or something. I mean, what good are you? So you can't use law. I like what Jeffrey Doherty, the Christian whistleblower, watch his video. He's talking about this part where Jesus is saying, I leave you the peace beyond understanding. Well, the peace beyond understanding, in his view, and I agree, is not to. This is the problem with gnosis. You want to know everything. You want to prophesize about the many ice ages coming. Maybe there are all this evidence to support that. But isn't that just causing a bunch of chaos? How is this converting into us doing anything good? Aren't we just all, stressed out in fear? Don't you have to overstand, as Jeffrey is suggesting, to me as one of these independent researchers? I don't think anything good has come from my neck of the woods. So that's what I want to hear from the Muslim community. Am I making any sense to you? Do you have any similar representation about that? Thank you.